So today I'd like to cover the topic of the practice model, which is also known as discipline. Discipline is key on the spiritual path. You have to practice what you know. You have to practice what you learn. But, the challenges come up that there's not enough time, or you're too stressed out, or, the mind's going on, and it's just so hard to sit still and do whatever it is you need to do. And you know that it's really important to practice. Practice. The goal for all of us is reaching enlightenment or finding true happiness or liberating our soul. And, we're striving for this. And we know that it's like a 1,000 step journey. But unless you take the first step and the second step and the third step and all the remaining steps, you're not going to arrive. And that's where practice comes into place. You need to discipline yourself to do your meditation, to do your yoga, to do your breathing, to do your mantras, or whatever it is for you that you feel is your spiritual practice. So today I want to go over the 6 P's that will help you move forward on your journey and, solve your issues of, having, time trouble or being completely distracted and all those mental things. And so we'll take care of that for you. And I know how it feels like because I've been there too. For example, when I was in Iraq, I'm in complete war, there's bombs going off and some things happen here and there, or there's drama with friends and hearing things of the drama back home. So it's kind of like you're in a whirlwind of stuff. So I understand how hard it can be to really find time to be with yourself, to focus, to practice. I remember, I had the opportunity to test my own practice where I was in my room, and our rooms were all divided by like plywood walls. And, the soldier next to me, he's, playing like really, really loud rap music. And I thought, this is like the only chance I have to meditate. So I'm just going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. And actually, that meditation was probably one of the best meditations while I was deployed. I don't know what it was, but I just, learned to tune it out. I stuck to my promise of committing to that time, and I actually did it. So I didn't give up. So I've been there. So with a decade of, practicing spiritual practices of meditation, mantra, and, my own self-reflection and self-improvement, I've learned the key elements that will help you become disciplined in your spiritual practices and help you move forward on your journey and not giving up. So with that, I also want to go over, some of the myths that come along with discipline. For example, there's this one where, enlightenment just happens. It can be transferred by energy or through a master and so on, and suddenly you're enlightened. Or I heard one recently that if you go to this Varanasi area in India, and as you die and the name of Vishnu is whispered in your ears, you suddenly become enlightened. That's not enlightenment. The real enlightenment comes with true practice, true dedication. If you turn to all the masters of the past, they've spent, they had to leave their kingdom. Usually the most popular ones that we hear of now were kings, and then they left the world, they left the kingdom and ran to the forest. And what did they do in the forest? They didn't just sit there. They actually did something. Like, for example, Tirth Mahavir, he left the worldly life, he left his kingdom, and he, stayed in sadhana for 12 whole years before he started teaching even. 12 whole years of meditation, fasting, deep reflection, contemplation, really mastering himself. So the idea of enlightenment can just happen without effort is really incorrect. And it also takes time to get there. It takes practice to get there, because it's one thing, another myth that, okay, you can read all the books and then you're going to attain knowledge. Maybe you'll attain logical knowledge or scholarly level knowledge, or you've mastered and memorized all the scriptures, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you understand and have experienced what they're actually talking about. You might read in so many books, oh, you know, the highest state of meditation feels like this. And then you conceptually get it, but unless you practice it, you're not going to experience it, and you're just going to rely on others to guide your spiritual path. Keyword your. It's your path. It's all about you. It's all about your effort, because in the end, that's how it happens. It's all about you. Not even the master can take you to enlightenment. For example, I always use like the metaphor that, you know, the master and the spiritual teacher can guide you to this edge of a cliff. And in order to jump the ocean of pain and suffering and arrive on the other side where there's liberation, peace, complete happiness, you have to jump. You have to have the courage, the confidence, the knowing to jump. And that's what the spiritual practice path is, and the practices that lead you to that point. But unless you know how to meditate, or give yourself time to meditate, or work on yourself, or practice humbleness, or for dissolving your ego, or practicing gratefulness or compassion to dissolve your anger or greed and jealousy, I mean, you're not going to get there. So even like we go to college or some kind of schooling, we might go to class and we might learn all these things conceptually, but unless we apply it to our day-to-day life and live it and practice it, it won't become part of us. It won't become a part of you. So the spiritual path requires hard work. It's not easy, but you're here, and I trust that you're a hard worker, you're determined, and you're going to fight to achieve the happiness you ultimately deserve. You deserve to know yourself. You deserve to love yourself. You deserve to believe in yourself. But unless you start working on those things, it's not going to happen in 100% way. Yeah, you might have, feel some peace here and improve there, a couple percentages, but it's not your nature to settle. You have to strive. You have to challenge yourself. So discipline is key on the spiritual path, but discipline's kind of like a very strong word, so I'd like to just call it the spiritual practice model. And that's what I'm going to go over with you right now. This way, you have some guidelines to follow and turn back to when you feel like you're struggling with your own practices, with your own discipline or time management and so on. So let's go to the drawing board, and we'll teach you the spiritual practice model. The spiritual practice model is going to help you stay committed on your spiritual journey. We're all striving for enlightenment, and we're all on this path together, but it is common to face the challenges of dealing with distractions or not having enough time or feeling too overwhelmed. And so without discipline or without any kind of spiritual practice to help you stay focused, it's going to be hard to move forward on your journey. So that's why I decided to create this model for you. This way, anytime you happen to slip off of your schedule or your calendar or your practices, you can come back to this video and learn about the spiritual practice model that will help you, remind you why you're on the path, how to stay committed and really overcome the challenges. Because really, I think one of the greatest reasons people fall off the path is because they lack discipline. They lack the model to help them stay committed. So this is what I'm going to share with you right now. So there are 6 P's for this spiritual practice model. The first P is practical. Practical means you have to decide on a practical practice. So for example, as a beginner, maybe one day you would like to have meditations that are, an hour long or 2 hours long or maybe even 4 hours long, but it's not practical to start off that way. And when you, let's say, try a 4-hour meditation right away, you're going to get discouraged because, your body's not prepared for it, or your mind is too wandering around. So that's why it's really important to select and decide a practical practice. So for example, a great way to start your spiritual journey is to have maybe 5 minutes of meditation each day. just 5 minutes, maybe 10 if you have some time, but that's more practical. This way you can start slowly building yourself up towards longer meditations if you feel to. But unless you start with a easy step, then it's better to start off with an easier step than jump to the hardest step, because it's easier to fall off that side. So anyways, you want to select a practical practice. The next P is to promise. Promise yourself that you want to be on the spiritual path, and promise and vow to yourself that you're committed to arrive at your destination. Promise to yourself that you want to be disciplined and do the practices. Because unless you make a promise to yourself or make a promise to someone, you're not going to do it. It's one of those things, like if you promise to do something and you don't do it, you kind of feel guilty. So, you don't want to feel the guilt, because that's not what the spiritual path is about. The spiritual path is dedicating your life to spiritual practices, to learning about yourself, to improving yourself, and all these things. But unless you make that promise or a strong vow to, no matter what, you will always do this practice, then you're going to move forward. Then you're going to experience the real spirituality, the real truth. But it takes one step. Maybe the promise is just to commit 5 minutes a day. It's not a huge or overwhelming promise, just 5 minutes. There's 1,440 minutes in each day. 5 minutes, you can do that. So make a promise to yourself, a vow to yourself. It's really important. It's really, really important. So the third step is to plan. You want to plan, like what time or day, because unless you plan, you won't find the time. You have to make time. You have to plan your time. And that's why, once you decide on a practical practice and you promise that you really, really are going to do this and follow through, then of course the next step is to decide when you're going to do it. Maybe you like to meditate 5 minutes right when you wake up, or 5 minutes right before you go to sleep, or do yoga 3 times a week. But decide to plan for it, because life's going to get in the way. Everybody wants 25 hours in a 24-hour day. I would too. I have a lot of work to do as well, just like you. So I understand how overwhelming it can be, or it's very difficult to find some time. But that's the whole point of time management. You have to plan. You have to plan ahead that no matter what, you're going to schedule all the other so-called priorities around your spiritual practice. Because who's the most important person in the world? You are. You're the most important person in the world. And so you have to plan for yourself. Make time for yourself. So decide the time and day, whether it's once a week, 5 minutes, or 7 days a week, 5 minutes, whatever it is you decide to do. But just make a note of it. That way you can promise and plan. The fourth one is to select a place. Select the place where you would like to practice. For example, I set up a very small altar in my own room, and that's where I go to do my practices. It's very quiet. It's my spot. So I always suggest to people, and to you especially, that find a place. Maybe you like a certain park, or you like to go to the beach, and you're able to go to the beach or this place at every time and on every day you promise to do so. Or you can just go to a special corner in the house where it's peaceful and quiet, and let that be your area. Let that be your space. Claim your space. And this is yours. You're going to meditate here all the time. You're going to do your yoga all the time, or your breathing or your mantras, because once you select a special place in your home or wherever you go, or a special spot, you're going to start creating energy there. So once you start creating more energy there, positive energy, the moment you step into your place, you're already in the moment. You're already feeling the presence. You're already feeling the energy. And that will help you focus more and more as you practice more and more. So place is a really, really good thing to do, to decide on a place, whether it's at home or somewhere else. But decide on a place, because if you just select any other spot, it's kind of like now you're becoming scattered. And you want to focus. Select one place, select one time, select one day, or whatever it is, and this way you can remain focused. And lack of focus is also another reason why people jump off of the path. They're too scattered, and it's like their energy is pulled all over the place, and no wonder it's very hard to come back to discipline, because too scattered. So focus on one thing at a time. And this is going to help you move further along on your spiritual journey. The next one is to prepare. When you're at your special place and on your decided time and so on, prepare to relax. Become more relaxed. Prepare mentally that you're going to do your practices, that you're going to do your meditation, that you're going to do your yoga, or whatever it is you decide to do. Just prepare mentally. Feel as if you're leaving that world, that outer world of, distraction and stress and mental tension and all those things. Just feel as if you're melting away from those things. So mentally prepare to sit down for 5 minutes. This way, you don't even have to worry about your body becoming achy. You just feel so prepared and so excited that you're going to go on this amazing journey for a few minutes and improve yourself and know yourself and discover new things about you. So preparation is a big thing as well. And lastly, perseverance. I hope I spelled that right. That's perseverance. Could be an R or something, but whatever. Perseverance. So once you prepare to, meditate or do your spiritual practices or mantra or whatever it is, you prepare, then you actually do it. You practice it. You're in it. You're feeling it. You're so present. So once you practice, persevere. Continue going on, no matter what. Don't give up. Don't become that type of person where you're committed, right? And you're so excited, like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to meditate 5 days a week. And then on the 4th week, you've fallen off because of life, because of not enough time, because of stress, or because the kids are bugging you. Whatever it is, really those are they're just excuses. If you promise to yourself, you will make it happen. If you're dedicated to your path, you will make it happen. If you love yourself and believe in yourself, you're going to make it happen. If you want enlightenment, you're going to really, really make it happen. And that comes through perseverance. You never give up. So that's the spiritual practice model. This is your discipline. How to be disciplined in your life and not fall off your track. So 1, decide on a practical type of practice to do, whether it's meditation, a simple meditation, or a guided meditation, yoga, or whatever it is, something that you can do. And with time, you can improve that aspect. But first start at the beginner level, and that's okay, because everybody starts at the beginner level. I did. I was actually lower than the beginner level because I thought I knew everything. And because I thought that, it actually blocked me from even starting, if that makes any sense. So you're ahead. You're open. You're learning. You're open to this new journey. So just start with yourself. Start with a practical practice. Second, promise. Make a promise to yourself that you're going to do it no matter what. You're committed to this journey. You're committed to your spiritual practice. That everything else for this time frame, nothing else matters. You matter. Make a promise to yourself, strong promise, like you're making a marriage vow, right? You're dedicating this promise to, you're committing to this promise for the rest of your life. Maybe mistakes come on the way, or flaws come on the way, or stuff comes on the way. But no matter what, you never give up. You're committed, you've made that promise, and you're going to go all the way. Third thing, plan. Plan your time. Plan your day. Which day? Select your day. Whether it's a Saturday or a Sunday or every day. Just write it down. Write down what time and day you want to do your practices. And then as you plan this, then you'll know all the other things that you need to do in your day will go around this time bracket. So plan. Place. Select a place. Create a special spot in your house, or find a spot like at the beach or at the park or anywhere else where you would like to spend your practices and do your practices there. Usually some people prefer a private area, some prefer public. It really doesn't matter. It's all up to you. But the whole idea is you'll return to the spot every time so that you can start creating energy in this area, and you'll be reminded and committed that, look, I'm in my place now. I'm in my spiritual spot, my spiritual home. I feel secure. The world can't touch me. The world can't bother me. I am home. So that's what your spiritual place is. And prepare. When you're about to sit for meditation or do your yoga practices, start with some deep breathing and kind of get in the relaxed mode. Feel the tension and stress melting away, and kind of just block off the world. Prepare your mind, your body, so that you can taste your soul. That's what preparation is about. And then perseverance. Once you start practicing and doing all these things, and you're practicing every day, practicing all the time, so dedicated, keep going. Don't give up. If by chance you skip a day, don't skip 2 days. Come back on track. It's human tendency to, okay, I'm just going to I'll just meditate tomorrow or something like that. And then tomorrow comes, right? And then you're like, I can catch up on 2 meditations tomorrow. And then all the excuses come in, the world comes in, subtly, ego comes in, whatever it is. Excuses. Really, just persevere. Get back on track right away. Just do it, because it's all worth it in the end. If you want happiness, you have to work for it. Happiness is a practice. If you want to dissolve your ego, you have to practice humbleness. It just doesn't disappear, or you fall asleep and wake up one day and your ego's gone. That's not the reality. The reality is everything requires hard work. It requires effort. But you want the truth. You're a truth seeker. You're a spiritual person. That's why I know you're not the type of person to give up. So you're at the beginning stage. And that's why I want to share this model with you, so that you're prepared for your spiritual journey. The idea of I don't have a discipline thought is not going to apply, because I already know and I trust that you're going to implement this model so that you can improve your journey, improve your life, and improve your soul. So let me share with you some ways to be successful in this model. 1, be patient with yourself. It's very easy to get frustrated if things aren't working out, or somehow the days switch that you selected to do, or the experiences are not coming, or maybe yoga was great one day and yoga was not great the next day. Whatever it is, just be patient with yourself. Patience is a virtue. It's the key, really, one of the main keys to enlightenment. Because if you just jump and push yourself, you're going to become overloaded, overwhelmed, and then you're going to stop completely. So it's better to take baby steps with patience so that you're always moving forward and never falling off. That's really, really the key, and that really is in relation to discipline. To always do. And like I was in military training, it's all about the discipline. We would have like 9-mile road marches, and you're just like, oh, my body is so tired. But because we're trained, because we're disciplined, we still have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, no matter what. So you have to learn to be patient with yourself, and even though, you might get frustrated or whatever, just stay committed, stay determined, never give up. And really this whole path is about simplicity. It's very, especially in today's world with the media, you always want the best, right? You always want to have the advanced stuff, or the new thing, or the greatest trend. Well, all those things don't really apply to spirituality, because the way you advance on your spiritual path and spiritual journey is when you become more and more simple each time. Forget about the 1,000 techniques, or the 1,000 ways to do this, or the 1,000 ways to do that. Become simple. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Become relaxed. And become very still in yourself. Simple, right? You don't need all these things to, whatever. I don't even want to go into it. Simplicity is the key to your spiritual journey. Don't get overwhelmed. When you're in simplicity, you're in inner stillness. When you're in inner stillness, you're in inner silence. And that's the true spirituality. And I know you're going to taste it. So with that, I want to sign off this video with a statement that you can do today with me. So you can go ahead and grab a piece of paper and a pen, and we're going to go through this little statement, and you can write it down as we go through. This way, I know and you are committed to being disciplined and practicing your spiritual practices. No excuses, right? Okay, so I promise, where's promise? Promise is right here. I promise to what? What do you want to practice? What's one thing you really, really want to practice that you can commit to? I want to practice yoga, practice meditation, do mantras. You decide what you want to put right here. I promise to practice. Enter your practice there. Or right here, actually. I promise to practice at, what's your planned time? What did you decide to do? I promise to practice meditation, yoga at 5 o'clock, let's say, 5 p.m. Meditation, 5 p.m. Place. Where? Where are you going to do it? At home. I promise to practice meditation at 5 o'clock at home, because this is huge. Why are you doing all of this? What's your motivation? What's your goal? What's your idea? Because most people just say, I promise to practice meditation. Okay, they promise to practice meditation, and then they fall off. Why? Because they don't have a why. You need to have a why. You need to have a reason why you're on the spiritual journey, why you're, desiring to do these practices. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to practice? What are you going to gain? What's your goal? Because I want to be enlightened. I want to be happy. I want to find peace in my life. I want to increase my intelligence. Whatever it is for you, but decide why you're doing this. Because one day, when, you might be struggling, which is normal on the path, and you pull out this piece of paper and you see why you've committed, then you're be reminded that, yeah, that's why I'm meditating 10 minutes every day. That's why. and then you're back on track. Then you're in your discipline. So I hope this spiritual practice model serves you. If you have any questions, feel free to post your questions in the comment section below, and I'll go through it and I'll personally answer as many questions as I can. The spiritual path is about you. It's about your self-improvement. It's about your self-knowing. And it's a process towards enlightenment and self-realization and total liberation. But unless you practice, you're not going to get there. So that's why the tips in this video are very, very important to you, especially as a beginner on the path. You don't have to go through 10 years of trying to figure out what to do. These are the simple 6 things. And this is what I live by every day now. And that's what keeps my path very simple, moving steadily forward, one step at a time. So I hope this video has served you. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned from it. Oh, one idea you can do? Post your promise in that comment section below. This way you publicly promise to do this, and we can hold you accountable to your promise. So with that, believe in yourself, love yourself, and know yourself, because hope for a better world starts with you.